Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us tonight on episode 23, season 6 of The Standoff with Brad and Richie here on New Zealand Sport Radio. We're live here on Wednesdays on Facebook and YouTube throughout the season. Evening, Richie. Well, it was a decent round of footy with some exciting clashes and a few upsets, including a deflating Warriors loss to the Titans that we've talked about quite a lot off here. How are you and how was your weekend?
Deflating indeed. Yeah, the weekend was quite good, mate. I wasn't on call this weekend, so I got to actually enjoy some time with the family and watch all the games, which is good. But yeah, obviously disappointed with our result. But yeah, that's life. That's life on the roller coaster, eh, Brad? We know it well. How's your week been?
It's all right. I had to go and watch the game live, so that wasn't great. But Friday, I went to the movies, managed to go to the movies and get out of the movies and home by halftime for the Dragons game. I did watch all of the game in the end, but yeah, thought that of all games, that was the perfect one to miss some time out to go watch a movie. So
yeah, fair.
that made up for tough. But yeah, tough week. Definitely picked the wrong week to use the Joker. Should have been last week, but that's hindsight for you. I didn't do too bad, thankfully. But while we're here live on Wednesdays at 8 p.m, you can also catch our show at your convenience on iHeartRadio and Spotify. Just remember to search for New Zealand Sport Radio. As always, we're going to cover everything you need to know on the week that was rugby league, including our top stories of the week, a review of the round 21 matches. We'll then take a look at the ladder, fantasy, and the tipping comp. We'll then answer some questions from you guys as well as questions we're prepared for each other. And then we'll preview round 22 and say who we're picking. So remember to send us comments and questions throughout the show. And we may as well just jump right into it, mate.
Yep, let's do that.
I thought the first one would do it Warriors related, but something that kind of affects you. The Warriors have announced that their Anzac game in 2026 will be played in Wellington. There's no word on who they're facing yet, but there have been rumours that it will be the Raiders. Thoughts on it coming down your neck of the woods, mate?
Oh, stoked. Yeah, you couldn't be more pleased. Even if it's against the Raiders, which they're pretty hot right now. But anytime it comes to the Cape Tin, I'll be there. Hopefully you can make your way down for it and see an Anzac game in a different neck of the woods.
Yeah, I'm already coming. I've already decided. And Paul's asked, has there been a game in Wellington this season? No, there hasn't been a game in Wellington
since 2023, was that?
Yeah, I think that was the last one. Yeah. That was round one. Round one when we played the Knights.
That's right.
So there was a game in Hamilton, right? So there's been one game outside of Auckland.
They've been playing the last 2 years. They've had a game in Christchurch, and the Anzac game this year was in Christchurch. They did have a game in I think it was 23 as well, where they played the Tigers in Hamilton. I think it was 23. I'm not sure, but that was an away game. And then they had Napier as well. But yeah, be good. I'll be coming down. I've apparently been told I've got a +1. But yeah, we'll have to sort the details out. The missus wants to sit in a car with me for 6 hours. I don't know if she wants to, if she knows that yet. I think she's expecting a plane, but she knows me. I love driving to Wellington, so that will probably be on the cards. But yeah, we've got some time. It'll be good. And Paul said +1 shopping. Yeah, as long as I get to go to the zoo, she can do whatever she wants. But yeah, it'll be good. We'll get more news on that as the draw comes out later on. But yeah, great to have it down there again. The next bit of news was around State of Origin, mate. There's been a lot of noise last week and this week that the NRL will be reviewing the State of Origin eligibility rules in the off-season. The decision, if any decisions are made, they may be brought in for the very next series. And I grabbed a little screenshot of what Peter V'landys said about it. He said it's a strong argument that if you've played your footy in Australia before the age of 13, and you're eligible to play Origin, why shouldn't you be able to? If we were to change the rules, it would only affect New Zealand and English players. They're the tier 1s impacted. Players from tier 2 nations like Samoa and Tonga can still play Origin and represent those nations. So he's basically saying if you do everything that qualifies, he doesn't care what country you play for outside of that. We'll see what actually happens. I know a lot of it kind of gathered more momentum this week with the announcement that KO Weeks turned down the Kiwis because he wants to play Origin. That apparently seems to have kicked up the conversations in Australia again. I don't really care one way or the other. I think it would prevent the Kiwis from losing some big names, which could be a bonus. But yeah, I don't really have that much of a feeling behind it. I know like Rue and Hammer have more staunch beliefs, being Australians that actually care about Origin more than us. But yeah, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm probably not as fussed as say if you were to go ask a Queenslander about it. For me, I think it would be kind of cool because it would. I kind of view it as an exhibition anyway. It's something different for them clearly, but it would open up the pathways for some pretty mouth-watering lineups.
Yeah, I think if they do it that way and you're sticking to you've got to play in the state before the age of 13, if you're ticking all those boxes, it's not like they're saying, if Sean Johnson was still around, Sean's playing for New South Wales type thing. So as long as they're doing all that, I don't really care. And there's dodgy ones in there anyway already. So
of course there is.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. That will be chat for season 7, I guess, if anything happens. We'll move on to the next one. I don't even know if we need to talk about it, but Clint Newton, the RLPA CEO, mate, he's on the top of all the real pressing issues that he needs to defend the players, and he's spoken about the new rugby league game. He's come out and he's urged the NRL and Big Ant Studios to sort out the player likeness issues and various other complaints the players have had ASAP. A lot of them were not happy that their player doesn't look like them. They weren't happy with the rating they were given. There has been a patch on the game, a massive patch that they said if it has improved the game. I jumped on and played it this afternoon, so I could say my thing. It still felt the same. To me, and I think I talked to you off air last week about the main one that's kicked up all the fuss was Millie Boyle.
I saw that. Yeah,
I think I told you I stalked or scoped her out in the game to see if she was in it. Found that she was in there as a free agent, and that she looks nothing like her. Nothing like her at all, and she's rated like a 53, which I think is a bit unfair. But I know their defense on some of it is a lot of the people that don't look like their players were not there for getting their faces scanned. Yeah. So if you're not there to get your face scanned, what can you expect?
I think they'll probably fix it down the line, right? They'll get more players that haven't done the scan. They'll get them scanned down the line. Yeah,
I'm sure they'll do that stuff. But yeah, and Paul said players will always moan about their own. Yeah. Even the big games that do it well, like Madden and things like that, even those players are complaining about what they got. But they break it down. They're not even complaining about their overall. They're complaining about their individual like stats and stuff. The only one I've seen that's done that, and it was tongue-in-cheek because it's on his brother's page, but Roger critiquing that he's got a low sidestep skill.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. The game's still not great, so... it's just good to see Clint Newton's decided this is going to be the hill he's going to die on this month. So yeah, we'll move on. Still no game between me and Richie yet. He needs to practice more.
We need no. I'm ready, mate. We can tee it up.
Okay, I need to practice more. I'm losing to the computer on easy difficulty, Matt. So, next bit of news, we'll go back to actual real footy. The Walker brothers are continuing their public push for the Titans job, saying that they'll unlock David Fafita's potential if they get the gig, and they've actually come out and blamed Des Hasler for Fifita's struggles this season.
More big claims.
Your take on that? I feel like you can't blame Des on all of it. He's been injured a lot and seems to not really want to be there.
No,
which I guess you could blame Des if he doesn't want to be there because the coach is there, maybe. But
I don't like the shot at Hasler.
It feels a bit like he's getting shots from all over the place anyway at the moment.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I know you've kind of been an advocate for them getting a crack somewhere, and that's probably a nice challenging spot to land.
I think if they are, it all looks like they're moving on from Des. If they want to gamble, I think they're a great team to gamble with, just to see what happens. Worst case scenario, you have to keep looking for someone else after, but it might work. I don't know. I do like their style, but their style isn't long term. But yeah, we have to see. They'll keep pushing it. So hopefully, we haven't even really had an official announcement that they're going to let Has go. It's all been just rumors, but maybe what he did in Auckland last week might give him a couple more weeks. Next bit of news: Chad Townsend has announced his retirement at the end of the season. Feels like he's been everywhere, mate. But yeah. I kind of thought he might have announced it last year. I was surprised he got like that 1-year deal with the Roosters, but hasn't had a lot of opportunities with him. Got his big chance a few weeks ago, and it lasted 1 week because the Roosters decided it wasn't the right thing. But yeah, he's done a lot in his time, positive and negative. But he's got some premiership. He's got a premiership against his name, so that's a lot more than some other players can say. But yeah, I don't know what he's going to be doing next. I think he did a video. He's big on the social media and the YouTubes. So I think he did one explaining his decision and maybe where he's going next, but I haven't watched it. So I assume he'll be doing the potties and things like that, I think.
He's already started his potty, hasn't he?
Yeah, he started a while back, and he's still been going through it well. I saw a little clip of him talking about Halasima's try the other week. So yeah, he's still going. But yeah, wish him nothing but the best afterwards. And Jacko said the Titans are trying to offload some players. Pereira. I think I talked about him either on here or off here last week. I think it was on here when we were talking about the team because he's not been named. I would be taking him in a heartbeat. I would bring him. But yeah, there are rumors that him and even maybe potentially Bo Fulmore have been told they're welcome to go, which is interesting because Bo's in their starting lineup and he was playing Origin this year. But
yeah,
I don't know. And then speaking of offloading players, the rumors are out that the Raiders are looking or have given Chevy Stewart and Trey Mooney permission to negotiate with rival clubs to join them next season. It's believed that if they can get them off the books, they will re-sign Josh Papali'i for that final year. I think they're both talented young players, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of teams interested in them. Still don't know if you want to lose two youngsters to give Josh another year. I know the emotion of it, of keeping him a one-club man, is quite good, but I think I said when you weren't here when I was discussing with Paul, it'd be nice if you can keep him, but not at the detriment of your future. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm sure a few teams will be willing to pick them up. And that's all I really had for news, mate, unless you got something else to add about that.
It was quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot. Not a lot of news at the moment. Everyone's too focused on the upsets that have been happening and what's happening to the ladder to have any breaking news. We've got quite a few signings and extensions and injuries in that, though, keep us occupied. So we can go into signings now. Unless Paul's got something.
The other player he wants, because he's at the Raiders, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
They might feel, look, this is their window for championships. So keep him for that. And then actually they're going to have to do a bit of a, since this is, being top of the table, they've got, this is actually our window. Let's actually keep him because he could be the difference between a championship or not. Whereas these young guys, yes, they're the future, but you don't always get a championship window.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, signings, we've got 2 signings, the rest are extensions. So Jock Madden has signed a 2-year deal to return back to the Tigers. So he was with the Tigers, left to go to Brisbane. He is now going back to the Tigers. So 2 years starting next year. I think that's a handy pickup. You know, he's probably not the Lachlan Galvin replacement, but he's probably one of the best options they have right now to try to bring back. So well done there. And Wakeford Trinity have officially announced Jazz Tavanga. So we talked about it a few weeks ago that he was going there. He is now there until the end of 2027. Handy pickup for them.
Yep.
And then the extensions, KO Weeks for the Raiders. He's extended until the end of 2029. I think that's a massive deal.
He's gone to another level this year.
Yeah, he's doing really well. And then Jake Clifford's had a 1-year extension with the Cowboys. Think that's handy for them, I guess.
Yep. Why not? They need it. They need halves.
Yep. And Lachlan Hubner has signed a 2-year deal with the Rabbits, or 2-year extension, sorry. I think that's good. He's showing some promise this year. The big one, I guess, if you want to talk about star quality, Jerome Hughes has signed a 4-year extension with the Storm. So that's effectively 4 years is probably the end of him at the end of that. So end of one.
Not going to be technically,
technically not a one club man because of his one game with the Titans, but he may as well be. But yeah, there has also sparked rumors that they will probably move Cameron Munster on to be able to afford this, and he could potentially be a bear in some time. And then the last one we had to update. I had it in the news section, which is probably why it was smaller, that Dane Gagai rejected his contract offer from the Knights, saying it was disrespectful and that they were giving him low figures because they assumed he wouldn't pack up his family and move away from Newcastle. I feel like Newcastle called his bluff and they announced that he signed a 1-year extension. So the disrespectful offer, maybe they sweetened it a little bit, but yeah, he will stay with the Knights. He'll stay with the Knights for another year. But yeah, any thoughts on any of those signings, mate? They're all stock standard, really.
They're all pretty good. The Jerome Hughes is definitely a big one. Maybe they're preparing to bolster their spine, with the rumors of with Pappy possibly going to the Rugby 360 League or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah. He apparently had a meeting with them, and they had a meeting in Australia with him and a few other players about that 360. So, yeah. But I think they're fine. They've got some nice talent that can come in. But
you just wanted a free drink, right? And a free meal.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll go to injuries. There's a stack. There's so many, mate. Olakuatu from Manly. He dislocated his shoulder. His season's over. He's going for surgery. He's also going to miss the internationals at the end of the year. So big loss for Manly there. David Fifita from the Titans. His season, they haven't officially announced it, but it looks like his season is over due to ongoing issues with his ankle. Another big loss for them. Thankfully, they only get to play the Warriors again, so they got another easy win coming. Jerome Hughes dislocated his shoulder. They said he will be back for finals. So they haven't given an exact date, but he'll be ready again for finals. Tavita Totola Rabbits, he also dislocated his shoulder. They're TBC on him. They said maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a bit longer. Connor Tracy from the Bulldogs, he did an abdominal injury and is out for 3 to 4 weeks. Jaden Sewer from the Dragons did his MCL. He's out for 4 to 6 weeks. James Fisher-Harris and Chanel Harris-Tavita from the Warriors both did their calves. James is likely out for 2 weeks. Chanel is out for 1. Wade Egan, also from the Warriors, fouled an HIA, 11-day stand down. Sandon Smith from the Roosters, fouled HIA, 11-day stand down. Chris Randall from the Titans, fouled HIA, 11-day stand down. And then the last one, Tody Ruboff from the Sharks, fouled HIA, 11-day stand down. There were more, but those were like all the ones of players that are actually playing. But yeah, I feel for the Rabbits. It's another one in there.
Crazy.
Plus a suspension, which we'll talk about. So yeah, Rabbits are taking a hit.
Eh? Weak in the shoulders.
Yeah, we had those two. Rocco dislocated his shoulder a few weeks ago. It's not good.
It's been a month of shoulders.
Yeah, some big injuries there, and hopefully for the Warriors, those ones come back sooner rather than later. But we'll go to Naughty Boys. I didn't actually update this. That's my bad. Jack Whiten, the biggest one, mate. He also shoulder charge. Yeah. He actually decided to fight it, and he was unsuccessful. And he will get 4 weeks, a 4-week ban. Massive for the Rabbits there to lose him this close.
Do you think it was ambitious him fighting that?
I think so. I think I would have taken the guilty, but yeah, it is what it is. I guess they were very desperate to make sure he could play, so they were deciding to fight it, and yeah, it bit them here. What about you? Do you think 4 weeks is too steep? I think 4 weeks is too steep, but it's a punishment for fighting it, I guess.
I wouldn't afford it.
Yeah.
That's just me. I wouldn't afford it, but yeah, that does seem steep.
Yeah. And then Carl Wooden from the Cowboys, he had a grade 2 dangerous contact. He got a 2-match ban. Yeah, I think that's fine, I guess. Yeah. Sean Mullaney from the Titans, Crusher, he got a 1-week ban.
Yeah, grub.
Yeah. And then we did have 2 that potentially could have got fines, got suspensions or a fine, and they both got fines. So Jackson Ford had a Crusher. It was $3,000 fine or a 2-match ban. He's got $3,000 fine. And Ethan Strange, grade 2 shoulder charge, same thing, $3,000 or a 2-match ban. He got the fine. So yeah, got less there. So nothing too major other than the Jack Whiten one. So that's it for all of those. And yeah, Bjorn said nothing in it, right, Brad? Yeah, none of them should have had any suspensions at all. They're all fine. That was a beautiful shoulder charge. I know it's against the rules now, but he hit him clean. It was good. So we'll move on to NRLW if we'll go into the normal round. That disappointing day at Mount Smart started a bit earlier with the Warriors going down to the Titans women 2010. Roosters continuing to show they're the team to beat right now. They beat the Bulldogs 42-22. Cowboys added the pain to the Raiders. They defeated them 26-0. Knights defeated the Eels 30-6. Dragons lost to the Broncos 30-6. We had 2 back-to-back games, same scoreline. And then the Sharks defeated the Tigers 20-16. This week for the women, it's Magic Round. It will be played in Newcastle. So all 6 games on Saturday, Sunday, all in the same venue. I haven't seen the news on if they've got any figures for tickets sold there. Hopefully they get a decent crowd. But kicking it off on Saturday, we had the Titans playing the Bulldogs. Then we had the Tigers playing the Roosters. Broncos playing the Sharks. Then day 2, we've got Cowboys and the Warriors kicking it off. Knights and Raiders, then ending with the Eels and Dragons. So be some good matches up there, maybe. A lot of them top of the table versus bottom of the table, which could lead to some big scores. Bjorn said, when is Millie back playing? I don't know. She still hasn't had the baby, so I don't know if she will miss next year as well, or if she'll be back for next season or not.
Might be a while.
Yeah,
you made it for the Wahines match, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you reckon?
There's still a lot of them that have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And I think it's just you just got to ride the waves with all these guys learning the sport. So yeah, it wasn't too disappointing. They missed my new Millie Boyle almost. I was going to say it to you and the boys when I was there. Marakino Gray.
Oh yeah,
I think is her name. Yeah, she was playing front row and she went off with an HIA and didn't come back. So I think it didn't help them. They had less players on the bench. But she was down in front of me, and her mum and her sister were in the same row as me when the game was on. But yeah, it looked like a fouled HIA.
Poor Brake was catching cold a bit on the right side. We seemed a bit left heavy. Ripping on the right hand side, not seeing a lot of good ball. Only the odd scoot out of dummy.
Yeah, she was really only getting involved when she made herself involved by coming off the wing and trying to get the ball. I think they need to
play to her a bit more.
Yeah, unfortunately, that other winger on the left is just as deadly. So, yeah, they seem to like going her way. But yeah, and
fantastic, yeah, but yeah, I think time to just step above.
Yeah, and Paul said Millie's expecting September, so I think she'll be back next season. Yeah, she should be back, I'd say, because they start later. And Jagger said girls are a work in progress, so don't expect too much. Yeah, I didn't read that memo because I think in the predictions on Raw and Hammer, I said they were going to win the comp. But yeah, in reality, yeah, you got to expect them to their first year back, getting into the groove. A lot of them have never played in the NRLW, so as long as so as they tick along and learn, they'll be all the better for it next year. So that was it for the round. We'll go into round 22, mate. Kicking off on Thursday night with the Storm just beating the Roosters 34-30.
Was 6 tries to 5. For the Storm, we had Josh King, Jack Howarth, Harry Grant. Josh King had another, Nick Meaney, and Stefano Utoikamanu. And for the Roosters, Daniel Tupou had a double standard. Siwa Wong, Lindsay Collins, and Zach Docker-Clay were the try scorers.
Yeah, it wasn't a polished performance by any means, but a valuable win nonetheless for the Storm. Put together some nice attacking plays at stages, but left plenty of points on the table with some silly errors and left their defence at home, letting the Roosters score some soft tries. Need to show the ball more respect. Otherwise, they may let some games slip against some bigger opposition coming up. Yeah, they got the Doggies and the Panthers, don't they? So defense like this could cost them those two games, which could prove crucial in their ladder position come finals time. But they're one of those teams that can not play their best and still be better than most teams in the comp. So, yeah, thought it was a good win by them in the end. But your thoughts on Storm, Matt?
Yeah, not their most glamorous win, especially defensively, as you mentioned, Brad. But yeah, they managed to seal the deal with the late try to Stefano in the 72nd minute. They had plenty not go their way, mind you, but I like the way Harry Grant, he kind of threw the team on his back later in the game, and I had a sneezing fit there for to mute the mic. Yeah, he threw the team on his back and guided them home with some awesome dummy half play, as you know, he's world class. So, not quite the finished product, as you said, especially with Hughes out. It's a dangerous wee period for them. So, I'm sure Bellamy will have them on high alert.
Definitely. And your thoughts on the Roosters?
They were definitely in this one. They could have pulled it off, but they just some mistakes at bad times. They'd want those moments back. They're a really dangerous side, but being very up and down so far this year, and that's sort of where they find themselves on the table because of that.
Yeah, I thought they had plenty of good moments in here, but just leaked too many easy points. The edge defense let them down, and they just made too many mistakes in crucial patches. They kept fighting, which you got to credit them for, but they just couldn't close it out. So yeah, it would be disappointing for them. It would be hard to go home knowing you scored 5 tries and you're on the losing end. But yeah, as you said, just inconsistent. I don't know. Jacob said, have to go. She who thinks I listen needs me to drive her to a friend's. Go have fun.
Oh, fair enough, mate.
We'll do a separate session for you, Jacko, teaching you how to control the ladies. I've got a book. I've got a book coming out.
Yeah, have a room with a door that she can't open.
She's not even here, Paul. I sent her to dance class. She didn't want to go because of the bad weather, and I said, no, you got to go. It's a hobby. You can't give up on your hobby. So, yeah. But, yeah, player to stand out, mate. Harry Grant led fantasy with 73.
I had to go with them. Yeah, I thought he was a clear standout. Yeah,
I went with him too. I thought he was really solid out there, and as you said, he kind of led them home. So, and Bjorn said Cookie Lambshanks, Jacko. Yeah, she might watch this later, so I apologize to her for saying that I tricked her into leaving the house. I'm only joking. But yeah, next game, Friday night, the game I missed the first half of and then had to watch back. Cowboys defeating the Dragons 38-32.
It was 7 tries to 6 for the Cowboys. Zach Labert, Tommy Dearden had 2, Cohen Hess, Scott Drinkwater, Jeremiah Nanai, and Jackson Purdue. For the Dragons, 6 tries, Tyrell Sloan, Matthew Fengai, Corey Allen, Tyrell Sloan, and 2 for Jacob Little.
Yeah, Cowboys are really strong with the ball in hand in the first half. Their playmakers clicked and they took full advantage of the Dragons' weak defense. Second half was different as they left the door open and got complacent, which allowed the Dragons back into the match with some lackluster defense and some shocking discipline. Showed some great determination, though, to hold on for the win. A nice bounce back after some poor weeks. It might be me, mate. I missed the first half, and then when I come back and turn the TV on, the Dragons just came to life. So I might be the key to the Dragons' success. Your thoughts on the Cowboys?
Cowboys, yeah. I thought obviously they were really good in the first half. For whatever reason, they kind of went to the Dogs for large parts of the second half and allowed the Dragons to storm back in, as you said. They held on for the result, but their defense, again, that it's kind of the reason why they aren't higher up the ladder. They just see large amounts of points. So they're lucky for Tommy Dearden, out of this world performance from him. He seems to have gone to another level, and he's taken confidence from State of Origin, I think.
Yeah, and your thoughts on the Dragons?
They did really well to come back into things after being dominated in that first half. It's just another typical Dragons performance, though, another loss. It's been up and down, but mostly down kind of season for them, which Brad's happy about. But, on a brighter note for them, Jacob Little, what he was doing, I think he's awesome to watch. So dangerous with his speed off the mark, and he was doing damage in that period where they really brought it back.
Yeah, I thought the Dragons did show some nice attacking flair, but they were just way too loose in defense, which let the Cowboys pile on the points. Made the most of their chances, though, in the second half, but it was just too little too late. And I think it's been an ongoing thing for them all year that they just don't know how to play for 80 minutes. They can look like world beaters for 10, 20 minutes of a game and then look like wooden spooners for the rest. Or vice versa. They can go 60 minutes looking amazing and then 20 minutes derails them. So, they just got to find that consistency or completely fall apart one way or the other. I would prefer to fall apart, but and Tom Dearden led fantasy with a big 93. Who'd you pick, mate?
Clearly, Tom Dearden.
Yeah. I went with him. I think if Tom Dearden ever left this club, the club would capitulate. I think he is the heart and soul there. And, anytime they're getting a win, it's largely off his back. So, thought it was a standout. But we'll move on to the game you most want to talk about, mate. The Eels defeating the Broncos 22-20.
Yeah, enjoyed this one. 4 tries to 3 for the Eels. Sean Russell, 2 for Zach Lomax, and 1 for the Fox, Josh Adokar. For the Broncos, Adam Reynolds with the intercept and his little legs, pumping as hard as they could. Kobe Hetherington and Billy Walters.
Yeah, I thought he was going to pull a hammy doing that. But
yeah, so did I.
But yeah, the Eels dug in for a gutsy win here. Their defense held strong under some pressure, and they made the most of their attacking chances as well. It was a great team effort. I thought their back five did a lot of the hard work, getting tough carries, getting them out of trouble. Season is over for them, obviously, but they look like they could score a few more upsets along the way and really impact how the finals look. They could be the old upsetter for several of the teams really pushing for a top final spot. And I think there are promising signs there for the Jason Riles rebuild. I know I was giving Riles a lot of stick about not using Dylan Brown at all, but I think the team was working really well together in this game. Millie, I think they caught the Broncos napping though, which probably helped. But and Bjorn, I was going to say that too. When Parry got the win, I was thinking, great, we can go 6 ahead now. How wrong I was. I was strolling into that stadium the next day going, oh, this is going to be so sweet for our ladder position now. How wrong we were. But your take on the Eels?
Yeah, a cracking upset from them. I thought they were fantastic. Their back five, as you mentioned, a lot of the tough stuff, Lomax, Penasini, they came with a great game plan, and Mitch Moses' influence, I think, key to their upset. I thought it was a great effort from him to produce like that in his first game back from injury. But yeah, awesome that they could pull off the ambush at Suncorp.
Yeah, definitely. And your thoughts on the Bronx?
They almost came away with a crazy try to win the game on the buzzer. The bunker confirmed Walsh being in front of the kicker. However, much to his dismay, he looked quite distraught on the coverage. They just seem to be rattled by the Eels, and I don't know if they took them too lightly. But they blew a big opportunity here. But luckily for them, we did too.
Walsh, he did look quite a mess because he knew the cameras were on him afterwards, so he had to play it up, But I was very happy about that match-winning try he got for my multi and my tips, and I was just as happy when they took it away for what it would mean for the Warriors. But the Broncos had plenty of chances to win this, but they just made key mistakes at the wrong times. A few missed tackles and poor ball control in the second half really hurt them, and they lacked polish in the big moments. But as we'll talk about soon, not the only team that slipped on a banana peel this round. I think, Madge probably said it best in the presser when he talked about Reese and said Reese has just got to learn the right moments, like when to take your moments and when not to push. And that's something we've kind of always said about him from time to time. He'll give you 100% all the time. It's just that 100% sometimes is a dog's breakfast.
Just rocks and diamonds. That's
rocks and diamonds.
I mean, he had brilliance in him in this game. The Billy Walters try where Walsh takes the ball, first receiver chops off the left. It's too much speed. Line break sets up Billy Walters. He's got that in him, but then he had several crucial mistakes in this one that probably saw the Eels home. Yeah,
and Edwin Reynolds top fantasy with 59, and Zach Lomax was top for the Eels with 52. Who'd you go with?
Neither of those two. I went Mitch Moses.
Yeah, I should have gone him too, but he makes this Eels team look so much better. But I went with Zach Lomax. He got the double, and he, admittedly, as Paul mentioned, kicking almost cost them, but he did get 50% of his conversions, and then he got a penalty goal. So at least he wasn't completely bad. But he made up for missing a couple by scoring 2 tries.
Mitch Moses only had 27 fantasy points. Absolute shocker from a fantasy point of view.
Yeah.
He was doing all the little things that fantasy doesn't help you.
Yeah, and I think he had at least a try assist. I can't remember if it was 2, but he seemed to just chime in at good moments. I know he had 1 try assist to Zach Lomax off the bomb. I think he had 2 try assists. Could be wrong.
Yeah.
Check the stat. Yeah.
Yeah, and now we'll pull the Band-Aid off, mate. First game on Saturday, Titans defeating the Warriors 24-16.
Yeah. 4 tries to 3. For the Titans, Jojo Fafita, Philip Sami had 2. Actually, Jojo Fafita, those 2 guys both had 2 each. And for the Warriors, Adam Pompey, Leka Halasima, hot start. Those 2 were in the first 8 minutes. And then the last try to RTS in the 61st minute. But yeah, not to be for us, unfortunately, Brad.
Yeah, and as Bjorn said, Pompey with the first try again. I should have picked that. I had a same game multi of Leka, Roger, and Dallin scoring. So it's like I should have given up on Dallin and just given it to Pomp. But hell of an effort from the Titans here. They look like a completely different side from the one we've watched for most of the season. They just looked hungry and executed well. They put the Warriors under pressure, won the middle with their pack, which was missing all the big dogs, basically, and took full advantage of the momentum with their backs looking sharp, and they used speed to their advantage, which was a concern I had going into the game. In my review, I said I was worried about the speedsters. May still be wooden spoon bound, but they well and truly have the Warriors number. This is the 6th win out of 7 clashes. So yeah, definitely have they're becoming the new Storm, mate. They're just always beating us. Your thoughts on the Titans?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, Brad, but yeah,
the Storm used to be other people as well, right? Whereas the Titans, the Storm used to be other people as well. It wasn't just.
Yeah, I think it's worse. I think it's worse when the team can't beat anyone, but they always beat you.
Yeah, that's definitely worse. It hurts so much. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what it is. They've got it over us. They played an almost perfect game of football completions wise. Dominated the middle, as you said. I don't know how they do that when they can't do that every other week, but they can come here and do that. I have to tip my hat to them. You got to give them credit for it, but I'm sick and tired of losing to them.
Yeah, and your thoughts on the Warriors?
Lovely start. I was up and about, quite excited about it, but yeah, the longer the game went on, the Titans only got better while we really struggled. Again, our right edge defense looks very unsure. I know we're home and host for finals pretty much. We've got a good amount of competition points, but I'm really starting to get nervous for our top 4 spot now with all of our injuries. So we're starting to see some serious shuffling of the roster now. So getting a bit concerned for that.
Yeah, and Bjorn mentioned that the Warriors seemed to look great until Egan went off and we seemed to lose our way. He was looking great. Yeah, I think that's what hurts just as well, because it was a deflating game for me. They cruised out to that nice lead. 2 tries in the first 10 minutes. He went off, I think, in the 11th minute. Then they scored straight after he went off, and it was all downhill from there. But yeah, I think even without him there, they still had a good side that could have beaten the Titans. But yeah, they just let the game slip away with errors and a lack of urgency. It looked like they took the Titans lightly, which we've been accused of that in the past, which I feel like you can't now with this history, this curse we have against them. You got to take them seriously, but they were punished for it. Need to find a way to combat opposition speed advantage and refocus as the teams below them are catching up. This was I did a side story. Let's ramble, mate. I did a ladder predictor this morning when I was working. Where I went and picked every match. As we know, with the tipping comp we'll talk about later, that's nothing to go by. And I picked us to lose to the Dolphins and the Doggies, but win every other game, including the rematch against the Titans. If that all happened in the other games that I said, we still end 4th. But I don't know how confident I can be because I picked, we'd lose to the Dolphins and Doggies were the only 2 I picked. But yeah, at the moment, is there a chance we bloody lose to the Titans again in the Gold Coast?
Yeah,
And that's
quite
requiring
possibly.
the Panthers to lose the Storm, doesn't it? Because that's the
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I picked the Storm over the Panthers, but I think I picked the Panthers to beat basically everyone else in their run home. But yeah, it relies on a lot. Because we're 3 points ahead of them still.
Yeah. So I was looking, so I immediately looked. So as soon as you dropped 4 points, it was like, okay, who did you go for? So yeah, look, the Panthers have got both the Storm and the Bulldogs. So they do have 2 top 4 teams to play on the way home, to be fair.
Yeah, and I think top 4 is vital for the Warriors. I think they could be in trouble if they miss the top 4 and don't have that second chance.
So we really want Penrith losing 1 or 2.
Yeah, I don't think if they will at the moment.
No,
Bjorn said, I'm going to the game here versus the Titans, so I hope we can finally get 1 win over them. Yeah, it'd be good. And Bjorn asked, did I boo the team at full time?
he would have. No, yes, he would have.
No, I don't. I was too emotionally upset. I boo, my ritual. I boo Adam Pompey in the team naming, and that's it. I booed Dallin this week too, I think, actually, and booed him as he walked past me for a sin binning.
We should get Bjorn to do a quick sort of 60-second video at before the game, at half time and at full time from the game. Be our in the ground reporter.
I don't know if we could afford him, Paul.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I've been trying to get used to it for years, but you just won't do it.
Yeah, you know me. I'm not good with the social medias.
I can do an Anzac Day game for us. Do
it for the show. Just say the recordings, and we'll use them on the show.
Even then, it's still a lot of pressure, Paul. It's hard getting me on here for an hour. But I'll try to remember one day. And Bjorn said, sure, let me see if I can do that. Yeah, if you can do that and send us through the video, we can play it. But yeah, hold on. You did tell it. Jaden Campbell, top fantasy with a good 82. Who'd you pick for your player to stand out?
Jaden Campbell. Thought he controlled the game wonderfully.
I thought you would. So I went left field a bit. I went with Philip Sami. I talked about that speed. Jaden Campbell busted the Warriors open a lot, but Philip Sami was just – he looked like he was on cruise control and he was still running around everybody. So though he had a real solid game too.
Yeah. And he topped for run meters and also for most line breaks.
Yeah, he was a monster. But yeah, Jaden Campbell was amazing too. So there's a great pick there. But we'll move on. Let's leave that game in the past and never talk about it again.
Yes, please.
After this, mate, I'm turning Rugby League 26 on and I'll go play the Titans as much as I can. But yeah, we'll move on. Next game, Panthers defeating the Tigers 36-2.
Yep, 6 tries to 0, obviously. For the Panthers, Lindsay Smith, Casey McLean, Dylan Edwards, Liam Martin, Isaac Tangor, and Thomas Jenkins. For the Tigers, just the 1 penalty goal to Adam Dwayne.
Yeah, and that was early on, 18th minute. So a lot of sitting under the goalpost for the Tigers.
The Tigers led though; they did lead.
They did. Classic Panthers performance here. They were dominant from start to finish. The defense was rock solid, and they kept the pressure on with the smart kicking and fast line speed. They didn't give the Tigers an inch, and they turned chances into points efficiently. And a top 4 finish seems very likely now, despite me saying maybe the Warriors hold on to it. I think if you're a betting man, you're betting on them getting to that top 4, which is crazy after some idiot on the show wrote them off. Said they wouldn't even make the 8.
They were last place.
They were looking horrible. It will send the NRL back decades, mate, if they go all the way and win this again, because they're effectively saying you can have half a year off and then still go in and win. But yeah, credit where credit's due. It seems like they're playing really well. So your thoughts on the Panthers?
Kalen Ponga won a Dally M with half a year. Yeah.
That's true.
Anyway, the Panthers, they're back. They're back, it would seem. Very dominant. Cleary looks to have put the disappointment of the state of origin behind him, and he's kind of refocused now on another NRL premiership, and with the trajectory they're on, I'm not going to put it past them. I'm certainly not going to say they can't do it.
Yeah, and your thoughts on the Tigers?
Yeah, clearly not their night. It just seems that they were completely outmatched. They have shown signs this year, but same old bottom half of the table for the Tigers. I think maybe the whole Galvin thing definitely upset the apple cart a bit there, as they would, they're going a bit better towards the start of the year. But yeah, there's signs there. I don't think they're going to get the wooden spoons. So that's one thing. They're already improving.
Yeah,
so
it's an improvement from the last couple of years, at least.
It's going to take time for them.
Yeah, and yeah, Tigers were never in the contest. They had no punch and attack and couldn't build any pressure. Their defense cracked under the constant pressure that the Panthers can do when they're on. They just pound you into the ground. And they just looked like they were out of their depth. Showed signs of promise earlier this season, like you said, but that feels like a distant memory now. I think leaving without a wooden spoon is, admittedly, you want your team to do better, but if that has been what it's been forever, that's a step in the right direction, at least. And they're probably just disappointed they hit the Panthers now instead of earlier in the year when Panthers were doing rubbish. Nathan Cleary top fantasy was 75. Terrell May got 71 for a losing team, and Lindsay Smith also got 75. Who'd you go with?
Cleary.
Yeah, I went with Cleary as well.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, just picture perfect performance from him, really, which we expect.
Off the tee.
Yeah. Going on to the final game on Saturday, the Sharks defeating the Rabbits 14-12.
Yes, 2 tries apiece for the Sharks. Ronaldo Mulitalo and Blake Brayley. For the Rabbitohs, Tyrone Munro and Tavita Totola goal kicking. Isaiah Tass was 1 from 2 with the conversions with 1 penalty goal. Hines 2 from 2 with the conversions, 1 penalty goal. So just the one extra penalty goal there conversion there that was the difference. Yeah,
Sharks held their nerve in a real grind here. The defense was strong, especially on their goal line, and they didn't panic under pressure. Had plenty of chances to pile on the points, but made some schoolboy errors. Need to nail those moments when they come into these other games coming up, because if they don't, they'll lose those games. They still feel like a side that will exit the finals early, but if they can keep their defense like it was here, that defensive mindset, they may surprise us. Your thoughts on the Sharks?
Paul?
We'll just pop in.
I was going to say the Sharks, when you think about it, the Rabbits, 10 penalties to 2, 4 ruck infringements to 1. The Sharks topped pretty much all the attacking stats apart from line breaks. The fact they left it this close after having so many stats on their side, so the execution was a bad one here.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to touch on. They'll take the win. They had plenty of opportunities. They just struggled to ice them. They were either being held up over the line or turned away on a number of other occasions. Luckily for them, their defence held firm. The Sharks, their defence held firm as well, though. And at this stage of the year, the Sharks will take any result anyway it comes.
Yeah, and your thoughts on the Rabbits?
I thought it was really quite brave from the Bunnies. The Sharks did have a lot of opportunities, but the Bunnies scrambled defence. The Bunnies could have lost us by a lot more, but their defence spoiled the party on a number of times. And given their injury toll, I thought it showed plenty of fight. So I think they can't be too disappointed. They were right in this one and could have pulled off an unlikely win.
Yeah, well, you think if they had, if Tass had got his conversion for the first try. That final try in like the last minute would have been to force it to golden point, which would have been a hell of a story there. But they did have their chances to win. They just couldn't finish them off. They overplayed their hand at times. I think it made costly errors. I think part of that is the amount of people that are out there trying to, like, the ones stepping up in their place are trying to do perhaps a little bit more than they should and like overplaying their hand. But yeah, discipline also hurt them in key moments. But I have to praise them, as you said, with all the injury adversity they faced. I think this was a hell of an effort against a team that is pushing, to be a final side. And I think they're just looking forward to the season ending so they can hit 2026 with hopefully everyone back on board, ready to go. And like, this has been a cursed year for them in terms of injuries. It's been crazy from like round one all the way. So, I think they'll be looking forward to having a full off-season under their belt and coming back. And Paul, do you have fantasy leader?
Sorry, yep. So Lachlan Hubner topped with 61. And for the Sharks, it was Blake Braley, with 54. So low scoring from a fantasy point of view.
Yeah, who'd you go with, Richie?
Braley. Yeah, Braley's. Yeah. I think Braley's been in a purple patch form-wise. Even if the Sharks hadn't been going well, he's been consistently one of their best.
Yeah, I went with him too. He's been real well. I forgot to put it in the news. He apparently was pushing for a massive long-term deal with the Sharks that they've kind of pushed back on. He wanted like a 5 or 6 year deal or something. And they've said, no, that's a bit too long. So, but yeah, I thought he was outstanding. He's really found some rich vein of form right now. So, I think the longer that continues, the better the Sharks will look. We'll move on. We get into some quick ones we can probably talk about now on Sunday. More one-way affairs, starting with the Raiders defeating the Knights 44-18.
Yep, 7-3 for the Raiders. Kale Weeks, Simi Sasangi, Xavier Savage, Tom Starling, Matty Timoko had 2, and Noah Martin. For the Knights, Kai Pierce-Paul, Greg Marju, and Fletcher Hunt.
Yeah, it was a tight tussle in the first half, but the Raiders were dominant and played with real intent in the second. Their forwards set the tone, and their attack flowed smoothly off the back of it. They were physical, direct, and just 100% full of confidence. They were, and they're creeping up my list of teams that can go all the way this year. I kind of had it stormed by a landslide. I think the Raiders in the form they're going at the moment, it could. And like Simon said, but it was 18-all at halftime. It was anyone's game in that first half. But yeah, the Raider fate of long ago disappeared, and they just wiped the floor with them. But your thoughts on the Raiders?
Yeah, that's kind of what I had. That they went to the sheds conceding a try right on halftime, and with that put the scoreboard level. But yeah, I don't know what they had during the halftime break, but they came back out and put on a second half onslaught, which sees them well on track to take out that minor premiership.
Yeah, my TAB account's going to be happy about that. I put them to win the minor premiership about 5-6 weeks ago. So
nice.
Be very happy. But yeah, and your take on the Knights?
Yeah, they showed plenty of fight in that first half. But yeah, okay, pretty much the opposite of what I just said for the Raiders. They I don't know what changed, but that in that second half, the fight they had early on, it just didn't come back out of the sheds. Even though they've lost most of their games, their defense has been decent this year. But it did let them down in the second 40 of this one.
Yeah, and so I said, it's fading into the game. The Knights came to play in that first 40 minutes, but after half-time, they just looked flat and disorganized. The defensive line was soft, and they couldn't stop the momentum once the Raiders found their second wind. Just too many basic errors and not enough resilience when things get tough. Kind of felt like, the more the game went on and it looked like it was out of their way, they just gave up on them. Which, disappointing for the Knights, but well deserved by the Raiders. Matt Tomoko, top fantasy was 74. Who'd you go with?
I went Fogarty. I just thought he led them around really well. 7 from 7 off the tee. 8 from 8 actually with the penalty goal. His torpedo bombs. He's probably the next best at it after maybe Matt Burton. Yeah, he was given the Knights grief as well. So his kicking game's always on point.
Yeah, he was great, but I went with Tomoko. I thought Tomoko was just a monster out there, as he is when he's in that kind of mood. He's hard to stop. I think Paul might have the stats. I'm pretty sure he topped like meters for the Raiders. I could be wrong, but I thought he was up there. And yeah, he got the double. So the double, picking the player that gets the double to be my player seems to be my pattern this year. We're not getting as many hat tricks as usual.
Yeah.
Tomoko led most run meters and most line breaks.
Yeah. So yeah, fantastic showing by the Raiders. We'll go into the last game now, mate. The Bulldogs defeating the Sea Eagles 42-4.
Yep, 7 tries to 1 for the Doggies. Sam Hughes had 2, Jacob Carrez had 2, Bronson Sherry had 2, and Inari Tuala had 1. For Manly, just the 1 try, Jason Saab in the 37th minute.
Mate, I just said that crap about picking the player that scored a double. We had 2 that scored a double in this, and spoilers for later, the guy I picked didn't even score a try. So
we had 3 that scored a double in this.
No, true, we did, yeah. The Doggies played with energy and purpose right across the park. Pack led a strong platform, and their backs took full advantage. They were ruthless once they got on a roll, and as much as I've said we in my notes, but I'll say me, as much as I've crapped on the decision, the inclusion of Galvin has added some much-needed spark to their attack. I feel like beginning of the year when Galvin and that weren't there, this might have been like 12-4 scoreline at the end. But yeah, they were fantastic here, and they caught the Seagulls napping and made them pay for it. But your thoughts on the Doggies?
Kind of a little bit like the Raiders game. The Dogs absorbed all their opponents had to offer, and then feasted in the second half. Some powerful carrying with ball in hand, and the usual swarming defense. I thought their defense again, as it usually is top notch. Thought they really showed their credentials well and truly this week.
Yeah, and your thoughts on Manly?
Yeah, definitely not their day. They didn't come off the bus for this one. They just ran into one of the top teams on the wrong day. The Dogs has been one of the best teams all year, and then, as you said, now that they've got Galvin on board, they potentially got a little bit more attacking about them. So, not a good day for Manly. They'll want to review it and move on from this one quickly, and they'll need to right the ship fast if they want to keep in the hunt for the top 8.
Yeah, and my thoughts on Manly, they were just completely off. Their defense was poor. They offered very little in attack and looked frustrated early. Just outplayed in every department and need to go back to the drawing board. I don't know. They still look just so out of sync. They had a couple of weeks where they looked like they were coming back to normal, but yeah, unfortunately for them, they hit the Bulldogs at the wrong time of year. Jacob Carrez, top fantasy with the 85. Who did you go with?
Bronson Sherry, strong carrying all day, got a double. Yeah, pretty much just threw a dart at somebody's name who had a double.
Yeah. I went with Connor Tracy. I thought Connor Tracy looked really good for the most part. There was a few things that he did that were a bit stupid, but for the most part, he was heavily involved, and I think his running game kind of helped those guys that got doubles get their doubles. So I wanted to give him a bit of credit because he's not always recognised on the scoreboard. So
so Bronson Sherry got 64 and Colin Tracy got 67 on the old fantasy. So look, quite a few players you could quite happily pick for your fantasy team in this one from the Bulldogs.
Yeah. No, I just got Cherry in my rugby 26 super team, whatever. I got him today.
Protein.
So
nice.
He's helped me. Yeah. So that was the round, mate. We'll go to the ladder. You had top 8 last week, so I'm taking it.
Yep.
Nice. Not too many changes. Raiders are still first. Bulldogs stayed second. Storm stayed third. Warriors stayed fourth. Panthers have moved up to fifth, though. Broncos moved down to sixth. And then the Sharks and Dolphins moved up to seventh and eighth.
And for the rest, Manly have dropped down to ninth. The Roosters remain in 10th. Cowboys up to 11th. Dragons down to 12th. Tigers down to 13th. Eels have moved up to 14th with that upset over the Broncos. Knights dropped to 15th. Titans move up to 16th after beating the Warriors. And the Rabbitohs now last place.
Hey, I know you guys have all been giving me crap about the Dragons. Dragons are only 2 points away from wooden spoon right now, so it can still happen, despite them being 12th.
Good.
They need a lot of things to go against them for that to happen, but there's still a dream.
Yeah, look, their points difference is what's going to save them. Whereas you look at those bottom three, the Knights minus 116, Titans minus 149, Rabbitohs minus 151. That's really close between the Titans and Rabbits. The big difference, though, is the Titans don't have a bye left, whereas they don't have a free 2 points. And that probably is going to be the difference, I think, or that could be the difference to see who actually makes it bottom.
Titans also have to play us again. And last year, the second time they played us, they got 66.
Yeah, they won 66-6, so that helped them out a lot. But yeah, I'm just before we move on. So yeah, the Dragons play the Raiders this week. Then they play the Sharks. Then they play the Warriors. Then they play the Rabbits, which will help them, I think. Then they play Manly. Then they play the Panthers.
It's a good chance they win. Chance they lose most of those.
Yeah. So at the moment, I'd say maybe the Rabbits they might beat. Or they should beat with all the injuries, but everyone else they should lose to. They do have an okay record against us, but that game will be a Warriors game at Mount Smart, which it's nothing right now without we've been losing at Mount Smart. But yeah, it's a very tough run home for them. Not saying that the Titans and Rabbits and that have better runs, but that's not an encouraging run home for the Dragons. So I might still get it, man. It might happen. Well, I'll wish it into existence. But we'll move on to fantasy scores. I know Bjorn has been hitting us with lots of questions, so we want a bit more time on question time. But I told you, mate, I went all out with my trades to try to help me out. I brought in Payne Haas and Isaiah Tuss. Tuss screwed me over. He ruined it for me. And Haas didn't really do that well either. James Fisher-Harris did better for my team off the bench than Payne Haas did. And then James got injured, so I had to trade him out. Spoilers for next week, mate. I managed to get Isaiah Yeo and the Hammer into my team.
Nice. I've got Isaiah Yeo as well.
Yeah, so I'm trying to pack it all out. We're in the final 2 rounds of my paid comp that I'm in. So I'm trying to squeak into the 8. I'm 9th at the moment. And
so
if I get into...
Jesus, you pay to play. Wow.
It's like $20, and then the winner takes a lot basically. So I want to try to get in there. But yeah, I ended up on 824, and Richie ended on 769. It could have been a lot closer mate, if Wade Egan didn't go injured for you. That really stuffed you up. But yeah,
a couple of people lowballed in there as well, but it is what it is. That's been the whole season for me.
And then we'll move on to the tipping comp. Some moving and shaking, Matt. Couple of joker rounds used at the right time. You, me, and Bjorn used our jokers to kind of get out of being at the bottom. Mac is still number 1. ACT Hellcat is 2. You've moved up to 3rd, Matt. You went from not making finals to being top 4.
Wow. I've used all my 3 jokers now, though.
You have. Harry Poppins is 4th. The Yerk is 5th. I've moved up to 6th. NB Sports Fan is 7th. And Bjorn is in the 8th. The boy from SMB is 9th. Simon, who hasn't used any jokers yet, he's 10th. I expect a big jump from him soon.
I reckon Simon's going to use it for the last 3 rounds
last 3 rounds and just shoot all the way to the top.
That's what his plan is.
And then Michael Barzudo, 11th. I don't think he'll care because he's a Doggies fan, so he'll just be happy the Doggies are doing well. Roscoe is 12th, and then Hammer, who gave up, I think, in like round 3. He is dead last and still pulling out. He got a 4, mate. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like everyone else got 6 bar Harry Poppins, and then us obviously with the 12s. So if the Broncos and Warriors didn't lose,
Your
we would have been looking.
Right?
We got a double. We got 2 games wrong, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, no, but you're at 6 essentially.
Six.
Right? Same as all the other 6.
Yeah, but we got a
Everybody
12.
got
Man. Yeah, but we picked the right times to use jokers. So,
No, you
So,
all,
yeah.
you all went, I should have done it last week, and then went.
Should have.
and then you
I
went,
would have got 14 instead of 12. So it's
the
still
horse has
not
bolted,
bad.
so I'll close the door. Is what you thought.
Yeah. I was confident I was going 8 from 8 this week, and yeah, the second to last place deals beating the Bronx and the last place Titans at the time, beating the Warriors, were big upsets. Okay, so my picking wasn't that bad. Shut up, Paul. We'll go to questions.
yeah. Stop fapping.
May as well answer all of Bjorn's ones first.
Well, yeah. So Bjorn says Warriors crowd seemed down compared to last year, yet we're in the top 4. Is there any reason for this, or is it just what it looks like on TV? Has it felt
You're
like
the man
there
for
are
that, Brad.
It's what it looks like on TV. The figures are the same. The problem is the way they have the hard cam. You're looking right at the east stand, which has got a lot of the hobnobs. I don't know the correct way. Paul, you'll know it. You're more eloquent. The corporate. And the corporate, they have some of the seating on that side where the camera looks, but they can sit inside where the food and drink is and watch it from inside. And a lot of the others, you'll see congregate behind the goalpost at the north stand and don't sit in their seats. They prefer, if you don't mind standing for the whole game, you're behind the goalpost. It's a good view. Behind you, you got that giant TV screen and your 30-second walk to the beer and the food.
I was going to say it's also where the food vans are as well. Yep.
Yeah. So a lot of people aren't in their seats. You get some psychos like me who, once you sit in your seat, you don't leave it until the game's over.
Unless you've eaten raw chicken.
Yeah, unless you're eating raw chicken, like what happened to me in the week, and I got sick, but didn't leave the game, Paul. Committed.
I didn't say you did. I said you left your seat.
Yeah. But yeah, I did leave my seat. That's why we lost. See, that's why you don't do it. But yeah, so the crowds aren't down. You just get some, I think it was not last week, the last home game where we had the weather warnings in Auckland. So a lot of the season ticket holders probably decided not to show up. I know all the seats in my row are sold, but the seats to my right and to my left were empty for this game last week. So they either didn't show up at all or they were sitting somewhere else.
Or standing somewhere else, yeah.
So yeah, it's not down. The numbers are still the same. It's just people are either the members aren't coming or they're just deciding to not sit in their allocated seats, which makes it look bad. Yeah. But yeah, I think they got like 24,000 at the Titans game.
So moving on then, the Titans have beaten us a few times of late. Was this the most disappointing of the lot in recent memory? I'll answer that one straight away. No.
No.
So I'll rephrase this. Which was the most disappointing one recently?
66 to 6.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. But in saying that, the last 3 have all been very disappointing in their own way. The first Anzac Day back at home.
Yeah,
and we would have been heavily favoured to win that, and we stunk the joint out and disappointed. Then the very next one, 66-6. Don't need to explain that. And then
they were all bad, really.
The position we were in to capitalize on the Broncos losing and solidify ourselves in the top 4. And yeah.
Yeah, I think this one, in regards to the ladder and everything around it, probably hurts the most because that 66-6, we were pretty much, our playoff chances were gone already. It was just like kicking us while we were down. Where this one had a lot of effect. I think the one that hurt me mentally the most was the one when Lodge was there. You know, when Lodge and they had the sim bins and
wasn't that 40
that one
something
was,
mil or something?
Yeah, it was the last game of the
good.
season, and yeah, multiple sim bins
42
and
nil,
pulling
I think.
figures to crowd and everything. It was that one hurt a lot too. But yeah, thanks for bringing all those memories back, Bill. It's great. And there one more from him as well.
So going topical now, which is unusual for us. Let's be honest. Food related. New Zealand Best Pie Awards are now out. What are your favourite pies? Let's start with you, Brad.
I love a good pie.
I'm a basic bitch, guys. I like a good mince and cheese.
Oh no! Okay,
mince and cheese is you give me a good mince and cheese, I'm happy. I'll go out and try others. I know I forgot his name now. He's a massive Warriors fan. He does pies, but they look amazing. But I can't stomach paying like $11 for a mince pie. I know it's not that his are very fancy, and that's why they cost more. But yeah. Give me a cheap dairy mince and cheese pie, and I'm happy as Larry. But yeah, I'll try fancy ones when I can.
So the Cafe Boutique Gold winner was rhubarb and raspberry sweet pie.
See, I would eat that. I would eat that. I do like good old rhubarb pie. But I know one of the ones that won it was some stupid. It was like a mince cottage pie with like that thin layered.
How dare you?
Thin layered.
It's a potato top. It's not a minced cottage pie.
It's a cottage. It's yeah. I know. Sorry.
Okay. So the overall winner was a French-inspired potato top with some which, as you say, I mean this is really a bit of a gourmet because it's got the potato gratin in the middle, which let's be honest is it's not a standard one. So very impressive pie, I must say, looking at it. But you must say you are if you're a pie person, you have to live in Auckland because the top bacon egg pie is in Blockhouse Bay, Auckland. Mince and gravy, Torbay, Auckland. Potato top, Albany, Auckland. Steak and gravy, Henderson, Auckland. Steak and cheese, Wainui, Auckland. Chicken and vegetable, Ellerslie, Auckland. Gourmet meat, Silverdale, Auckland. Vegetarian, Torbay, Auckland. The only one that was not in there from that was mince and cheese, which is down in the Nada Bakery in Wellington. There for you, Richie. So, Richie, are you a mince and cheese or what's your? No.
So Nada Bakery, their potato top pie is fantastic, but there are better spots, I reckon, in Wellington. My go-to is normally a basic steak and cheese as well, but there's a place called Puku's Pies that's just opened up, and they do all sorts of flavors, all sorts of different fancy ones, cream power and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought they were really nice, but normally I'll just go steak and cheese.
We're basic people from South Auckland, Paul.
Steak and cheese is nice and easy, simple. But I get annoyed that when I go into the supermarkets now, I've got like 5 different options for steak and cheese or mince and cheese, and nothing else. It's like, give me. I don't mind having. I like a steak and cheese, but I also like to have a bit of variety sometimes. And I remember back in uni days at there was a pub near me, a pub near my university, which had this turkey pie, and that was delicious. Got a nice slice, not runny, the solid pie. Yeah, but definitely good with a pint of real ale. So that was my but trying to find that here, trying to find something like that here in New Zealand, very difficult.
Yeah, if we get the time machine, seafood pie from Georgie Pie was my go-to as well. I remember that as a kid, getting that. A mince and cheese and seafood pie was my go-to at Georgie Pie.
My ex used to make a good seafood pie. So yeah, definitely, I'm partial to one of those as well. But
yeah, so there we go.
I don't think I've ever seen. You don't really see that in shops. It's because it tends to be just potato on top, right? There's no pastry around it. It's kind of like a cottage pie, which is the difference between a cottage pie and a potato top. Is a cottage pie just doesn't have the pastry around it.
The pastry, yeah.
Little education lesson there for Brad on that one.
I eat basic pies and stuff, but I'm a bougie cook. I like cooking nice things, so I don't know.
He's not invited me out for dinner yet, so I'm still waiting.
No, I don't even cook for Richie. So, so we'll go with your question to me now after we've answered all of those.
Yeah, you bet. The Warriors squad has had a fragility about it this year when it comes to the injuries. Is there anybody from the next tier down we haven't seen yet that you think wouldn't be far off first grade consideration in the near future?
The most obvious is the one all the bloody Australians want to talk about, which is Jet. I managed to watch a lot of the New South Wales Cup game in the weekend, and he looked really good out there. But I think in terms of who would be ready to bring in now, and positions you need, I think I talked to you and Ruin Hammer about it. Eddie, I think he is the next one up. How do you say his last name? Is it Iramia Toiava?
Yeah, Iramia Toiava.
Yeah,
no, you're right.
I think he's like the next one that I could see coming up. I think I said to you guys that I'm got a sneaking suspicion that he'll make his debut this week. But that's not confirmed. That's just my opinion on with how batshit crazy the team's been announced. But yeah, I think he's next. Toby Crosby, I think, is maybe next year. We might see him a bit. He's a barnstorming young prop, which always ticks my box. So I think he's got potential as well. And other than that, I think Sio Kali, I think is his name. I think
the outside back.
With the need with a couple of our wingers not really doing what they do, I think he could potentially be brought up as well. So there are a couple. It's just unfortunately in the centre department where we're struggling because every centre is getting injured, which is where they need the most help right now. But yeah, have you got any?
Oh, just the same names as you. Yeah. The other big ones we've already pretty much seen, getting game time already.
Yeah, and hold on. Bjorn has asked a question about Jet Cleary. You can tell I've looked at that before because it's the first thing that popped up when I Googled. So he was on a training trial and he'll upgrade to a development deal in 26 before joining the top 30 in 27. So we've got him for at least we've signed him for 3 years. We've got him to at least 2027. Depending on if Daddy
gets upgraded.
I predicted that he'd get upgraded to top 30 this year, but that hasn't happened and we're running out of time. I think he'll be top 30 next year. And be playing. I reckon he'll end up, I don't know, like saying it, odds are Luke Metcalf will probably have an injury next year as well.
Don't say that.
I don't want to say it, but odds are I think he may be the one that's a bit like Luke in 23, where Luke didn't get to hit the ground running, but he was the next cab off the rank if there was an injury and got his time to shine when Tamati went down with an injury. I think that's what we'll see out of Jet next year, where he'll basically, I think, be given the New South Wales Cup team to lead, and then first chance they get, if there's an injury, they'll bring him up. But yeah, we've got him at least 2. If he's happy, maybe they can extend him, or if Daddy says it's time to come home and join your brother, we might lose him at the end of 2027. It's hard to say. I did get to see him in person after the game on Saturday. He came out, where we used to sit, mate. We had a lot of the former players were sitting watching the girls. So, like in the row in front of me, we had Cherry Siu, Ali Lautiti. David Solomona was there. I don't know what he's involved with the Warriors or not, but he was there as well. And the boys were coming out of the sheds to go and do whatever they do. And he came up, shook all of their hands, said hello, and then went off, which rubbed me the right way. It was like, the story you hear about his older brother as well seems a chip off the old block, very polite, down to earth kid. So I hope they keep him. I think he's got a big future. And I think it's better for him to do it here than over in Penrith, where he's going to be compared to his brother a lot more than he will be here. Still will be compared, but yeah, that answers your question, Bjorn. At least until 2027. He can't claim homesick, mate. He was born here, so he can't pull that card. My question to you, though, mate, the Warriors has been shaky. How confident are you in them making a run in the finals? Not necessarily making the 4, but once finals happen, do you see
making
them
a run
being like
in
a
the
shark?
finals?
Yeah,
I'm with you. I understand your question. I'm definitely less confident now than if you'd asked me the same question a month ago. I just think we've had too many key components go down. Mitch Barnett, Luke Metcalf, and now we're having other little bits and pieces. Fisher Harris, Chanel, just to disrupt things a little bit here and there, and particularly in an important game against the Dolphins coming up. I'm just hopeful that we don't get a couple of heavy losses that really spoil our momentum. Yeah, and kill the boys' confidence. So I'm less confident about a run in the finals, but I think we can definitely win a game in the finals, and then who knows from there. But if we win a game in the finals and then bow out, that would be kind of, I'd be expecting that.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah, so I did that ladder predictor, like we said. For finals, it had us at 4th playing the Raiders at first. I think the Raiders win that. And then I picked who I thought would win. It meant round 2 would be back here and we'd be playing the Panthers. And I think we'd lose to the Panthers. So if the ladder predictor, how it went, I think we'd go out in straight sets. But... yeah. It would be very Warriors-like to lose to the Raiders twice this year and then beat them in the playoffs. So I'm hoping, and by that point we'll have Fish back. Chanel will be back, but who knows? We're talking about it soon. The halves combo. Maybe we find that Boyd and Tamati work better together. They were the halves pairing in New South Wales Cup.
Yeah, it depends where we finish too.
Right. Yeah, if we end up
say we finish 5th, if we finish 5th, we're going to play 8th place, and then that's just my feelings that I think we'll win maximum 1 game in the finals. Yeah. So
they're definitely. I'm not as confident as I was like 3 weeks ago. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, we'll move on now and talk about the next round. Go over the Warriors versus Dolphins playing on Friday night. 1st of August, first Friday night game at Mount Smart for a while. You want to run down, can we call it the team that's been picked?
We're going to call it the team. I'll run down it. Fullback, Chance Nickel-Klustad. Wings, Dallin, much to the dismay of many fans. He's kept the spot, and he kind of has to, really, doesn't he? We don't have a lot else to choose from. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, other wing. Adam Pompey, Kurt Capewell. Capewell remains in the centres for now. Tamati Martin, Tanner Boyd, the halves. Front row, Dimitri Vaimaunga comes into the starting lineup due to the Fisher-Harris injury. Jacko Ford's the other starting prop. Sam Healy comes in for Wade Egan with his concussion stand down. Each back row, Leka Halasima, Marata Niokore. Lock, Aaron Clark. Interchange bench, Tane Tuapiki, Jacob Laban, Freddie Lussick, and Tanisdale Smith. Not super confident that's what we'll see run out.
No, yeah. So I was quite surprised by it on Tuesday. I had no idea about Chanel and James being injured. I knew Wade Egan would be out, so I knew Sam Healy would be coming in. As I said, conspiracy hat on, I think Eddie Iremia-Tuava goes into centre. I think Kurt Capewell goes to 12, and I think Murata goes into the front row. I think Murata they're going to say, mate, you're James for the next 2 weeks. And then either they might decide that Ford comes better off the bench and drop him to the bench, or maybe they go, Dimitri, we're putting you on the bench and we'll have Murata starting. Then I think Tane will retain on the bench, and I think Freddie will be out, and they might bring in like a Bunty or maybe a Going. I don't know. I think there will be some changes. I don't think Lusset's going to be
chance to centre.
That also is another option. Yeah, I have heard that that's what people have been seeing at training. I'd be happy with that too. And I think Freddie Lussick won't be there because they announced last week that Freddie Lussick was out for at least 3 weeks with an ankle injury. So I don't see how he can be 3 weeks out and then he's been upgraded to first grade. But yeah, so I think, the 17 we see there won't be the 17 that play on Friday, if the rumors to go by.
So are you surprised seeing someone like Dimitri come in straight into the side, whereas a Bunty Afar, who's much more experienced, especially at this time of the season, looking at this many injuries, and not bring that experience on?
I'm surprised that we haven't seen Bunty on the bench, but Dimitri's been playing really well. So I think he deserves a chance to be a starter. But yeah, Bunty, I've been surprised we haven't seen him much at all. But with how Dimitric and Leka have been playing, it's hard to take a spot off them, especially when you've got Kirk Capewell and everyone else healthy, Mitch Barnett and all that. It's very hard to find a spot for him with how they've been playing. But yeah, in this game, I expect to see Bunty. I think they need help there without James and Mitch. Going out, your two big dogs, not having them, they need to probably throw a bit more out there. So, I don't know.
More than Freddie Lussick at prop.
Yeah, well, Freddie Lussick, they keep trying to turn this poor kid into a prop, and he just ain't it, mate. It's a special breed to be the best position in the league team, and he's doing it in New South Wales Cup, which is fine. Anyone can kind of play anywhere in that grade, but I think in first grade, they've done it to him before, and he hasn't looked good doing it. Remember, a few years ago, they'll throw him out there as a prop just to give him some minutes, and it's not good. But you watch, he'll probably have the game of his life playing as a prop this weekend and make me look like an idiot. We'll go off and talk about the Dolphins now. So very, very good squad, unfortunately. Miso Tabo-Fido is at fullback. The wings, we've got Jermaine Osako and Jake Avarillo. Centers, we've got Max Fegai and Herbie Farnworth. Halves, we've got Cody Nikarima and Zoe Katoa. The dream team are back. Francis Molo, Jerry Marshall-King, and Felice Kafusi in the front row. Connolly Limu, say that last name wrong all the time, second row, and Oren Keeley, the other second row. Kurt Donahue is 13. Then bench, we've got Ray Stone, Orblix Tawa, Mark Nichols, and Josh Kerr. It's a very good lineup. Very intimidating. And I've picked the Dolphins in this game.
Orblix is an interesting name, eh? You reckon his parents are Orblix fans?
Maybe. And then, Bjorn's trying to tell you there's a POM for you, Paul, one of the best centers. He is the best center in the competition. Herbie Farnworth, the POM. But I think the Dolphins, I want to see, the game Rowan Hammer came to, you remember we had everyone out and we were playing the Dolphins at home. Very similar situation here where Moala Graham Tolfa was named on the extended, got his debut and had a blinder. So I'm hoping for a miracle like that again, where every player, every first grader was out. We had all the kids playing and we beat the Dolphins full strength. So I would like to see that. I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. And another loss in the cold for Brad. You picked Dolphins too? Yeah. I'm putting money on the Warriors because I think we're paying $2 something.
Yeah, so
it just seems like too much of a lineup shake-up.
So the Warriors are $2.30, Dolphins $1.64. Even though the Warriors are fourth in the table and the Dolphins eighth in the table, but clearly those injuries playing a big part. Form line look, I mean, the Warriors 2-2 in their last 5 games. The Dolphins 2-1, which shows they had a couple of byes recently. So are they rusty or are they rested? That's the question. Away from home, 4 wins and 5 losses for the Dolphins. So they're not great away from home, but clearly those injuries are playing a big part, I think, in those odds.
Yeah. So we'll go look at the rest of the round now and see how I like our bloody picks are. Kicking off on Thursday, it feels like straightforward games this week, but I've said that a few times and been proven wrong. Thursday, we got Storm versus the Eels. I've gone Storm.
Storm.
Yeah.
And it's the Eels versus the Storm, right? It's the home team first. Stop. Don't go American on me. Home team first. Eels versus Storm.
Sorry.
Okay. So the Eels are $3.70. The Storm are $1.28. Not the shortest odds of the weekend, but clearly heavy favourites.
Yeah, I'm confused, Paul. Again, we've already talked about it on Friday. The Dolphins are playing the Warriors at Mount Smart. I only did that because it triggered you. I had to do it. But we'll go to the next game. Broncos playing the Rabbits.
That's better.
I did it the right order, and I've gone with the Broncos.
Yeah.
So surprisingly here, no, it's not surprising actually. So the Broncos are the shortest odds of the weekend, $1.13. The bottom of the table Rabbits at $6.20, and with those injuries, not surprising with that really.
Yeah. And then on Saturday, kicking it off, we've got the Titans hosting the Panthers. I've picked Panthers because we're going to see how far below we are when they put a cricket score on the Titans.
Has to be Panthers.
Yeah, I mean the Panthers are now on a 7-game winning streak at the moment. They are $1.22, so not as short as the Brisbane Broncos, but the shortest of the weekend. The Titans $4.25. Obviously, the Titans and the Eels came back off the back of wins, which I think is lengthening those odds very slightly.
Yeah, it's 7 wins in a row is not bad. It's no like 13 or 14 like the Warriors New South Wales Cup side are, but we can't all achieve greatness. Next game on Saturday, we have the Dragons hosting the Raiders. I've gone with the Raiders.
Yep, Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders on a 9-game winning streak now on this one. So unsurprisingly, they're $1.42. The Dragons at $2.90. Actually, perhaps fairly long for the Raiders, considering the fact they're on a 9-game winning streak.
Yeah. Then the last game on Saturday, we have Manly hosting the Roosters, and I've gone with the Roosters here. This was the hardest game for me to pick.
I went Roosters too. I just think losing Olukuatu takes a bit of punch away from Manly.
Sting out of the Manly, yeah.
So the TAB disagrees with you. Now these are the shortest. These are the closest odds of the weekend. Sorry. So as you say, the hardest game to pick. The Manly Sea Eagles are $1.73 at home. The Roosters $2.10 on the road there. The Roosters look 4 from 4 wins and 4 losses on the road. Whereas the Sea Eagles at home are 6 wins and 3 losses. So a strong home team. Also, the Sea Eagles are 3 wins and 1 loss in their last 5 games. The Roosters 1 win and 3 losses. So you're both going against form with that pick of the Roosters.
Yeah. I would like to buck the trend. Then we've got the final 2 games kicking off on Sunday. The Tigers hosting the Doggies. I've gone with the Doggies.
Has to be Doggies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's be honest. The Doggies second in the table for a reason. Are $1.30. They admittedly they've lost a couple of games recently. The form guide of 3 wins, 2 losses. The Tigers $3.60 at home. The Tigers 2 wins and 3 losses. And also the Tigers don't play well at home. 3 wins and 6 losses at home. They've got more away wins than home wins for the Tigers this year.
Yeah. And then we end the round with the Sharks hosting the Cowboys, and I've gone with Sharks.
Sharks, yeah.
Yeah, the Sharks $1.40 against the Cowboys $2.95. The Sharks, they've had a really good home season. Record this season with 7 wins and 2 losses. The Cowboys on the road 3 wins and 6 losses. So that's that one is a fairly comfortable home pick with that one.
Yeah, so it feels like another 8 from 8. I'm hoping I get it 7 from 8 and get a Warriors win. That will make me very happy.
I was going to say, you've got one of the favourites for every game apart from the Sea Eagles Roosters.
Yeah, I'm making the big calls, Paul. A lot of these games, like Storm and Eels, Bulldog, like there's like 3 or 4 of them where it's top of the table playing bottom, but they're teams you can confidently say they will beat their bottom teams, unlike some teams.
It is. It's surprising that actually, I mean, the Roosters, the Rabbitohs are $6.20 against the Broncos. The Eels only $3.70 against the Storm. That's I would have thought it would be larger than that, but clearly that win at the weekend that they got, and the fact that the Storm lost at the weekend has spooked some people, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so that is the round. Anything else you guys want to add before everyone is let go?
No, I'm happy.
You got nothing? You're happy? All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on the Standoff with Brad and Richie. For your weekly update on all things rugby league, tune into our show next Wednesday at 8 p.m. here on Facebook or YouTube, or at your own convenience on iHeartRadio and Spotify. Just remember, search New Zealand Sport Radio. Cheers again for joining me, Richie, and thanks, Paul, for your help in the background. And good night, everyone.